Hey guys, it's Madison. This is the third chapter of 13 Reasons Why. Sorry I haven't made a video in a little while. I just dealing with stuff, I guess. Not much, just stuff. Anyway, since some people did want this, I got messages and I got a comment in the previous videos. People were asking me if they wanted me to do this still, so I will do it. So last time we read, just for remembrance, Hannah talked about how, what's his name? How a guy kissed her, or he said that he did more with her. He said that she did some gross things with him, and he said that they got to second base, but they really didn't. So he got her a rumor started, so now everyone thought she was a slut or a whore, which isn't okay. You should never do that, about spread rumors about someone that aren't true. That's wrong. And another thing that happened was a guy made a list of all the hottest girls, and they said Hannah had the best butt. And for that to happen, a guy went up to her in the store and he grabbed her butt. Yeah, that's not okay. You don't do that to someone. Especially not without permission. Alright, so we're going to get into the third chapter. Just going to kick right off. Before Hannah's voice kicks in, there's a pause. Step by step. That's how we'll get through this, one foot in front of the other. Across the street, behind the buildings, the sun continues to fall. All the street lamps are on and up and down the block. I grab the Butterfinger from my knee, the soda from beside me, and stand up. We've already finished one tape, both sides, so stick with me. Things get better, or worse, depending on your point of view. There's a trash can, an oil drum spray painted blue. Near the front door, a blue spot liquor. I drop the unwrapped Butterfinger onto it and able to imagine my stomach holding down anything solid, and walk away. I know it may sound like it, but I wasn't completely alone the beginning of freshman year. Two other freshmen, both featured here on Hannah Baker's Greatest Hits, were also new to the area, Alex Standall and Jessica Davis. And while we never became close friends, we did rely on each other for the first few weeks of school. I twist the top off my soda can, it hisses, and I take a sip. With 1 week left of summer vacation, my Aunt Tilly called me home to see if I would meet her at school. A little new student orientation, she said. In case you don't remember, Miss Tilly was the guidance counselor for students with the last names beginning with A through G. Later that year, she moved to another school district. I remember she was replaced by Mr. Porter. It was supposed to be the temporary position, but he's still at it, an English teacher as well as a guidance counselor, which is very unfortunate as it turns out, but that is for a later tape. An icy sweat breaks across my forehead. Mr. Porter? Does he have something to do with this? The world around me tilts and spins. I grab onto the trunk of a skinny sidewalk tree. If she had told me the real purpose of our get-together was to introduce me to another new student, I wouldn't have gone. I mean, what if we had nothing in common? Or what if I thought we had nothing in common, but she, the other student, thought we did? Or what if the opposite happened, and I thought we could become friends, but she didn't? So many things could have gone so horribly wrong. I pressed my forehead against the smooth bark, tried to calm my breathing. But the other girl was Jessica Davis, and she didn't want to be there any more than I did. We both expected Miss Tilly to spew a bunch of psychobabble at us, what it means, what it takes to be a great student, how the school year is made up of the best and the brightest in the state, how everyone is given the same opportunity to succeed if they're willing to try. But instead, she gave each of us a buddy. I closed my eyes. I didn't want to see it, but it's so clear. When rumors of Hannah's unexplained absence began spreading through school, Mr. Porter asked our class why he kept hearing her name mentioned in the halls. He looked nervous, almost sick, like he knew the answer but wanted someone to convince him otherwise. Then a girl whispered, "Someone saw an ambulance leaving our home." The moment Miss Tilly told us why we were there, Jessica and I turned to each other. Her lips parted as if she wanted to say something, but what could she say with me, sitting right there? She felt blindsided, confused, lied to. I know that's how she felt because I felt the same way. And I'll never forget Miss Tilly's reaction. two short, drawn-out words. Or not? I squeezed my eyes tight, trying hard to remember that day as clear as possible. Was it pain on Mr. Porter's face, or was it fear? He just stood there staring at Hannah's desk. Through her desk, and no one said a word. But we looked around at each other. Then he left. Mr. Porter walked out of the class and didn't come back for a week. Why? Did he know? Did he know because of something he'd done? And here, to the best of my memories, is what we said. Me. I'm sorry, Miss Tilly. I just didn't think that's why you called me in here. Jessica. Me neither. I wouldn't have come. I mean, I'm sure Hillary and I have things in common, and I'm sure she's a great person, but... Me. It's Hannah. Jessica. I called you Hillary, didn't I? Sorry. It's okay. I just thought you should know my name if we're going to be such fabulous friends. And then the three of us laughed, and Jessica and I had very similar laughs, which made us laugh even harder. Miss Tilly's laugh wasn't quite as heartful. More of a nervous laugh, but still a laugh. She claimed to have never tried matching up friends before, and was doubtful she would ever again. But guess what? After the meeting, Jessica and I did hang out. Very sneaky, Miss Tilly. Very sneaky. We left campus, and at first the conversation felt awkward, but it was nice having someone to talk to other than my parents. A city bus pulls up to the curb in front of me, silvers with blue stripes. We walked past my turnoff, but I didn't say anything. I didn't want to stop our conversation, but I also didn't want to invite her over because we really didn't know each other yet. So we continued walking until we reached downtown. I found out later that she did the same thing, walked past the street where she lived in order to keep talking with me. So where did we go? E7 on your map? Monet's Garden, Cafe and Coffee House. The bus door was open. Neither of us were coffee drinkers, but it seemed like a nice place to chat. Through the foggy windows, I see that almost all the seats empty. We both got hot chocolate. She ordered it thinking it would be funny, but me, I always ordered hot chocolate. I've never ridden a city bus, never had a reason to, but it's getting darker and colder every minute. Pause. It doesn't cost me anything to ride the bus at night, so I hop on and move right by the driver without either of us saying a word to each other. She doesn't even look at me. I make my way down the center aisle, buttoning my jacket against the cold, giving each button more attention than required, any excuse to avert my eyes from the other passengers. I know how I must look to them, confused, guilty, in the process of being crushed. I chose a bench that, as long as no one else boards, is stimulated between 3 or 4 empty seats all around. The blue vinyl cushion is ripped down the middle with the yellow stuffing inside about to burst. I slide over to the window. The glass is cold. My head resting against it helps me relax. Play. I honestly don't remember much of what we said that afternoon. Do you, Jessica? Because when I close my eyes, everything happens in a kind of montage. Laughing, trying hard not to spill our drinks, waving our hands while we talk. I close my eyes. The glass cools one side of my overheated face. I don't care where this bus is going. I'll ride it for hours if I'm allowed to. I'll just sit here, listen to the tapes, and maybe without trying, I'll fall asleep. Then at one point you lean across the table. I think that guy's checking you out, you whispered. I knew exactly who you were talking about because I'd been watching him as well, but he wasn't checking me out. He's checking you out, I said. In a contest of who's got the biggest balls, all of you listening should know that Jessica wins. Excuse me, she said to Alex, in case you haven't figured out the name of the mystery man. But which one of us are you checking out? And a few months later, after Hannah and Justin fully break up, after the rumors begin, Alex writes a list. Who's hot, who's not. But there at Monet's, no one knew where the meeting would lead. I went to push stop on the Walkman and rewind their whole conversation, to rewind it into the past and warn them or prevent them from even meeting. But you can't rewind the past. Alex flushed. I'm talking, and all the blood in his body rushing out to his face kind of blushed. And when he opened his mouth to deny it, Jessica cut him off. Don't lie. Which one of us were you checking out? Through the frosty glass, the downtown street lamps' neon lights slide by. Most of the shops are closed for the night, but the restaurants and bars remain open. At that moment, I would have paid dearly for Jessica's friendship. She was the most outgoing, honest, tell-it-like-it-is girl I'd ever met. Silently, I thanked Miss Tilly for introducing us. Alex stuttered out, and Jessica leaned in, letting her fingers fall gracefully onto his table. Look, we saw you watching us, she said. We're both new to this town, and we'd like to know who you were staring at. It's important. Alex stammered. I heard. It's just, I'm new here too. I think Jess and I both said something along the lines of, "Oh," and then it was our turn to blush. Poor Alex just wanted to be part of our conversation, so we let him. And I think we talked for at least another hour, probably more. Just three people happy the first day of school wouldn't be spent wandering the halls alone, or eating lunch alone, or getting lost alone. Not that it matters where this bus is going. Does it leave our town for another one, or does it loop endlessly through these streets? Maybe I should have checked before getting on. That afternoon on Monet's was a relief for all three of us. How many nights had I fallen asleep terrified, thinking of that first day of school? Too many. And after Monet's? None. Now I was excited. And just so you know, I never thought of Jessica or Alex as friends. Not even at the beginning. I would have loved 2 automatic friendships. And I know they felt the same way because we talked about it. We talked about our past friends and why those people had become our friends. We talked about what we were searching for in new friends at our new school. But those first few weeks, until we each peeled away, Monet's garden was our safe haven. If one of us had a hard time fitting in or meeting people, we'd go to Monet's, back in the garden at the far table to the right. I'm not sure who started it, but whoever had the most exhausting day would lay a hand in the center of the table and say, "Ole, ole, Oxenfree." Or "Ali, Ali, Oxenfree," sorry. The other two would lay their hands on top and lean in. Then we'd listen, sipping drinks with our free hands. Jessica and I always drank hot chocolate. Over time, Alex made his way through the entire menu. I've only been to Monet's a few times, but I think it's on the street the bus is going down now. Yes, we were cheery, and I'm sorry if this episode is making you sick. If it helps, it's almost too sweet for me, but Monet's truly filled whatever void needed filling at the time, for all of us. But don't worry, it didn't last. I slide across the bench to the aisle, then stand up in the moving bus. The first to drop out was Alex. We were friendly when we saw each other in the halls, but it never went beyond that. At least with me it didn't. Bracing my hands against the back rust, I made my way to the front of the shifting bus. Now down to the 2 of us, Jessica and me, the whole thing changed pretty fast. The talks became chit-chat and not much more. When's the next stop? I ask. I feel the words leave my throat, but they're barely whispers above Hannah's voice in the engine. The driver looks at me in the rearview mirror. I am sorry, my voice is just really bad today. Then Jessica stopped going, and though I went to Monet's a few more times, hoping one of them might wander in, eventually I stopped going too. Until only other people here are asleep, the driver says. I watch her lips carefully to make sure I understand. I can stop wherever you'd like. See, the cool thing about Jessica's story is that so much of it happens in one spot, making life much easier for those of you following the stars. The bus passes Monet's. Here's good, I say. Yes, I met Jessica for the first time in Miss Tilly's office, but we got to know each other at Monet's. I hold myself steadily as the bus decelerates and pulls to the curb, and we got to know Alex at Monet, and then this happens. The door whizzes open. At school one day, Jessica walked out to me in the halls and said, "We need to talk." She didn't say where or why, but I knew she meant Monet's, and I thought I knew why. I descend the stairs and step from the gutter up onto the curb. I readjust the headphones and start walking back half a block. When I got there, Jessica was slumped in the chair, arms dangling by her sides like she'd been waiting a long time. And maybe she had. Maybe she hoped I would skip my last chance to join her. So I sat there and slid my hand in the middle of the table and said, "Ali, Ali, Oxenfree." She lifted one of her hands and slammed a slap of paper on the table. Then she pushed it across and spun it around for me to read. But I didn't need to spin it around, because the first time I read the paper, it was upside down on Jimmy's desk. Who's hot and who's not? I knew which side of the list I was on. According to Alex, my so-called opposite was sitting across from me, at her safe haven, no less. Mine, hers, and Alex's. Who cares, I told her. It doesn't mean anything. I swallowed hard when I read that list. It passed down the aisle without a thought. At the time, it seemed kind of funny. "Hannah," she said, "I don't care that he picked you over me." I knew exactly where the conversation was headed, and I was not going to let her take us there. And now? How do I see it now? I should have grabbed every copy I could find and thrown them all away. "He did not choose me over you, Jessica," I said. "He chose me to get back at you, and you know that. He knew my name would hurt you more than anyone else's." She closed her eyes and said my name almost a whisper. "Hannah." "Do you remember that, Jessica? Because I do. When someone says your name like that, when they won't even look you in the eyes, there's nothing more you can do or say. Their mind is made up. Hannah, you said? I know the rumors. You can't know the rumors, I said, and maybe I was being a little sensitive, but I had hoped, silly me, that there would be no more rumors when my family moved here, that I had left all the rumors and gossip behind me, for good. You can hear rumors, I said, but you can't know them. Again you said my name. Hannah. Yes, I know the rumors, and I swore to you that I hadn't seen Alex one time outside of school, but you wouldn't believe me. And why would you believe me? Why would anyone not believe a rumor that fits so nicely with an old rumor? Huh, Justin? Why? Jessica could have heard so many rumors about Alex and Hannah, but none of them were true. For Jessica, it was easier to think of me as bad Hannah than as Hannah she got to know at Monet's. It was easier to accept, easier to understand. For her, the rumors needed to be true. I remember a bunch of guys joking with Alex in the locker room. Pat a cake, baker's man. Someone ask him, pat that muffin, baker's man, and everyone knew what was being said. When the road cleared out, only Alex and I remained. A tiny wrench of jealousy twisted up my sides. Ever since Kat's going away party, I couldn't get Hannah out of my mind, but I couldn't bring myself to ask what they had said was true, because if it was, I didn't want to hear it. Tightening the shoelaces without looking at me, Alex denied the rumor. Just so you know. Fine, I said. Fine, Jessica. Thank you for helping me in the first few weeks of school. It meant a lot, and I'm sorry Alex screwed it up with the stupid little list of his that he did. I told her I knew all about the relationship. On the first day of Monet's, he had been checking one of us out, and it wasn't me. And yes, that made me jealous. Sorry. And if it had helped her to get over it, I accepted any blame she wanted to put on me for the two of them breaking up. But it was not true. I reached Monet's. Two guys stand outside leaning against the wall. One smokes a cigarette, and the other is burrowed deep into his jacket. But all Jessica heard was me accepting the blame. She rose up behind her chair, glaring at me, and swung. So tell me, Jessica, which did you mean to do? Punch me or scratch me? Because it felt like a little of both. Like you couldn't really decide. But what was it you called me? Not that it matters, but just for the record, because I was too busy lifting my hand and ducking. But you got me, and I missed what you said. The tiny scar you've all seen above my eyebrow, that's the shape of Jessica's fingernail, which I plucked out myself. I noticed that scar a few weeks ago at the party, a tiny flaw on her pretty face, and I told her how cute it was. Minutes later, she started freaking out. Or maybe you've never seen it, but I see it every morning when I get ready for school. Good morning, Hannah, it says, and every night when I get ready for bed. Sleep tight. I push open the heavy wood and glass door to Monet's. Warm air rushes out to grab me, and everyone turns, upset at the person letting in the cold. I slink back and shut the door behind me. But it's more than just a scratch. It's a punch in the stomach and a slap in the face. It's a knife in my back, because you would rather believe some made-up rumor than what you knew to be true. Jessica, my dear, I'd really love to know if you dragged yourself to my funeral, and if you did you notice your scar? And what about you, the rest of you? Did you notice the scars you left behind? No, probably not. That wasn't possible, because most of them can't be seen with the naked eye, because there was no funeral for Hannah. Okay, that is the end of that chapter. So let's go over what happened. A girl named Jessica and a guy named Alex got to know Hannah, and Jessica and Alex started to go out, and they broke up because of Alex's stupidity, but then because Jessica didn't want to blame Alex, she blamed Hannah. And it's really sad because this really does happen with a lot of friends. Girls will blame their other friends for something that the guy did, which really sucks. It's not always the other person. It's not always your friend's fault. Usually it's something you and your partner or your partner did, not just your friends. Your friends might be trying to warn you, or your friends might try to help. That's basically the only thing. I'm not making any sense, am I? What I mean to say is that you can't just blame your friends because of any breakup that happens with you. that is between you and your partner only. It's not your friend's fault, unless they might have done something like actually, like telling your partner that he was cheating, that you were cheating on him or something like that. Then that might be their fault. But otherwise, I don't think it's right to say it's your friend's fault just because your boyfriend made a list that said she was hot and he was, and that you were not. That's your boyfriend, not her. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm sorry, my voice is just really messed up right now, so I'm just trying to talk less, but I wanted to make the video. Thanks for watching.